Yeah. All right, all right, all right. Let's give it up for my friend. Oh, wait, wrong one. Gregory Hernandez.
What's up, man?
Man, I'm glad. I'm so glad to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know, bro. Like, what's up with that, bro?
Yeah.
Like, we need to kick it more often, man.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know? And what makes it so much funnier is that like people see Edward, me hanging out with my friend Eddie all the time on this podcast.
Yeah.
He sat in that seat. He sat over there, and like it's so odd because you and I, you're related to Edward.
Yeah, we're blood, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. His mom is my cousin, and
Yeah.
her dad and my dad are brother and sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so insane how we became friends outside of knowing.
Yeah, I know.
knowing that you're related to Edward. Yeah.
Back in Frank Roberts, man.
Yeah, we were both working at an elementary school. That's where along with several years of working with like children, that's what led me to realize that I absolutely do not want to work with children in the future.
You remember those days?
Yeah, no, it's tough, man. I always thought that if you were just like stern or I don't know, whatever, that the kids would follow, but it's tough. It's
Yeah, it's tough. I think kids are unique.
yeah.
You have to really earn the right to be heard in
Yeah.
order for them to listen to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, that's tough. But it's not so much children you work with; it's teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Teenagers.
So,
So, for people that do not know, my friend Greg Hernandez is working with an organization called YoungLife.
yeah.
Yeah. So tell people all about it.
Yeah. So, YoungLife it's people call it a parachurch. We are not the church. We are a parachurch. We come alongside churches and we reach high school kids at the local high school. And so we partner up with all sorts of denominations that believe in Jesus Christ. And
Yeah.
so, we're getting on. My mission field right now is San Benito High School. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've helped you out a little bit.
Yeah. No.
I try as much as I can. It's just like,
Bro, people miss Mickey on the mic, bro.
whoa, I'm requested?
I'm serious. I even
Whoa.
still have those recordings, and kids are like, "Hey, what happened to Mickey?"
Say it ain't so, Greg. Wow. They
Yeah.
like me?
Yeah,
They
dude.
really like
Dude,
me?
You had them laughing, bro. Of course they like you, man.
I'm a funny guy, man. I'm a funny
Yeah.
guy.
I don't know if they were laughing with you or laughing at you, but
Yeah.
they were still laughing.
Yeah, it was a lot of self-deprecating humor. And I always have the habit to where I ride on the like I ride a thin line. Like
Yeah.
I try my best to like not do. There was when you had me on the mic, there was a day that we had Battle of the Sexes.
Yeah.
And I said Battle of the Sexes. I thought this was Battle of the Sexists with the T. And then I just started saying a bunch of sexist jokes.
Yeah.
Which weren't like they weren't
bad.
They weren't bad.
They were PG.
Yeah, they were PG sexist jokes.
Yeah.
Sexist nonetheless. So regardless, you should be offended, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Don't apologize.
Yeah, no, but like I said, I try my best, and but you were, because when we first met, you actually were just starting with YoungLife, and now you're.
No, I think when we first met, we found out that we were going to the same church, and
Yeah.
we didn't even know. We were just sitting in different locations, and
Yeah.
then we kind of like figured that out where we were working at, that we went to
Yeah.
the same church. And then, it was back in, in summer of 2023, it'll be 10 years for me being with YoungLife.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, no, I was in the school district in the elementary helping out with
Yeah.
a resource classroom. And I had just been approached to volunteer for YoungLife, and I
Yeah.
fell in love with the organization, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
The way they would reach the high school kids, it was kind of crazy because, I gave my life in my mid-20s to Christ.
Yeah.
And I ended up having this sort of grew into a legalistic mind, but I didn't know it was a legalistic mind when I was
Dude,
going
that's
through that.
funny you say that. I just learned that word,
Legalistic.
legalism.
Yeah. So, and I didn't know that word,
Yeah.
but as I I used to say I cut everything out of my old life because I didn't want that old
Yeah.
life. And I cut it off, and I got really invested into the church, and
Yeah.
my life changed. I was different with my wife, and I was different as a person, and with my kids, and like
Yeah.
everything started just like God like started aligning everything, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And as I went through the church, it was great. Got involved in children's church, and then got involved with youth as my personal kids started jumping into the high school.
Yeah.
And one day they approached me for Young Life, and I went to camp, which was one of our camps is in Crooked Creek Ranch in Colorado.
Yeah.
And when I went out there, I was blown away.
Yeah.
By midweek, I was, well, let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
When I was getting on the bus
Yeah.
to go to the camp,
Yeah.
there was a kid smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
There was kids trying to OD on Monsters. And then there was another guy trying to hit on some chicks and stuff. And I started looking at these kids like, man, what did I just get into?
Yeah.
Like I'm getting on the bus going to Crooked Creek Ranch in Colorado, and I'm getting in a bus filled with kids who were once like me.
Yeah.
And I said, wait a minute, like I don't think I signed up for this. I
Yeah.
think I put that life behind me.
Yeah.
I want to be involved with the church. And I said, you know what? It was my first time ever going to Colorado. So I said, hey, I'm going. I
Yeah.
knew there was no strings attached. So
Yeah.
I said, I was just going to go to volunteer. And so,
Yeah. Free trip. I'll take it.
all right, Colorado, bro.
Yeah.
Like, man, I've talked to adults. Tons of adults haven't been to Colorado.
Yeah. I haven't been to Colorado.
Well, there you go. I need to take you one. I've invited you though.
Yeah.
I've invited you to camp.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. It takes a long. Like I don't know. How do I get a week off of work? I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, and so check this out. So as I'm going through the camp by midweek, I see how they are giving the progression talk of Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Wait, I just realized you've invited me to Colorado?
Bro, I've invited you to camp for the last 10 years since I've known. Nah, I'm just playing. Probably for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Because I know you invited me to a camp, but I didn't know. Yeah.
It's been, we've gone to Colorado about 3 or 4 times, bro.
Oh, dang. I think if you would have said Colorado, I would have been.
No, yeah,
No,
bro.
I'm just kidding around, dude.
And so midweek,
Yeah.
I'm all in. I get back and I dive in, and I said, man, I felt like my eyes were uncovered of how God was taking my old past life and how I could be so relatable to these kids and what they're going through. And I said, man, Lord, now I know that you were walking with me when I was when I was their age.
Yeah.
And all this life that I was going through,
Yeah.
you have just aligned it for me to go and reach these kids who I was, just like when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and that's so real because, and contrary to popular belief, I am a Christian. Okay. Okay. I know I might not seem like it or like, whatever. Yeah. And so like, there's people who, and not to say we're perfect, right?
Yeah, no, nobody's perfect, bro.
Yeah, but I can guarantee you Greg's more perfect
No,
than I am.
bro, I'm just as bad as you, bro. No, I don't know. There's no scale. At least I don't live on.
You don't want to live up to. You're like, wait a second. I don't want to say like.
I don't live on a scale, bro. That's up to God to separate, right? Like,
I'm so glad you said that.
No,
That's
I'm
awesome.
serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
You're like, I'm just as bad as you. Wait. I'm not like Mickey. I'm not as bad as Mickey. No, but okay. So, right, we're all not perfect, right? And so, but okay, so there's people who do not have a life with Christ. Do not have that direction, because like as Christians, we're trying to follow a path. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're trying to gain wisdom. We're trying to gain a closer relationship with Jesus, to where that knowledge, that wisdom, that relationship is what guides us away from all of our past tendencies and habits and stuff. And so, we're doing it to be closer to God, and that's the whole purpose, is that we want to be in a relationship. We want to be in a close relationship.
Yeah.
And so for the people who aren't in that relationship, what they're experiencing is real. You know what I mean? Like they're like, they have all these issues, they have all this stuff, and they don't have Christ. You know what I mean? Like they don't have God, like they don't either believe in it or they don't want it or they're too busy, in their own life to where like, and so for us as, as I said, not a perfect Christian, but a Christian, those things that we went through in the past, those things that we've experienced, those things that like before we had that direction, that served a purpose, Like, and so all the hard, difficult things and stuff that we experience in life, like, those are blessings. Like those are, and I felt the same way when I felt that God revealed himself to me. I realized that the whole time that I was lost, the whole time that I didn't have that direction, and I didn't have there was something keeping me from fully realizing God, from fully knowing him. Yeah. And I realized that throughout that whole time that I felt lost, that he was with me the whole time. He had put, and it was a lot of them, he had put little, I say like breadcrumbs leading me to where he wanted me to be.
Kind of like a dangling of a carrot or something.
And it's to where what like, and that's what humbled me the most is that now that I felt that God revealed himself to me, I had all these questions in my heart that was keeping me from having that connection. Yeah. And then all at once, when I felt that he was answering them, I looked back, and in hindsight, I was able to see all the people he put into my life, all the situations he put into that led me to this moment. I realized I was so lost, but I was being taken care of. You know what I mean? I was put on a path.
At what age? At what age were you like experienced, or do you look? At what age was that going?
Let me say this. There was a breadcrumb that led me to Christ, and you were definitely one of those breadcrumbs in my life.
Hey, amen for that, bro. Yeah. I know that I baptized you in the back of my house. You and your cousin, man. Yeah. And your nephew, right? Or your nephew.
Yeah. And he's still on, his journey. God bless him. Yeah. I love him with all my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and bro, there are tons and tons of high school kids that right now, man, they are just going through the motions of life. They are living in the moment, and they have no clue of what their purpose is in life or why God created them. And every time that we meet with kids, YoungLife, we get on campus and we meet with kids on Monday nights, and it's called Club. Yeah. And throughout their first semester, there's 12 weeks. And in those 12 weeks, we give them a progression talk. And it starts off with the creation talk. Yeah. And it ends with the appropriation talk. And all through there, we learn about the divinity of Christ. We learn about his humanity, the need talk. It goes all the way to the sin, the cross, and then the death, burial, and resurrection talk, right? Yeah. And so as we're talking with these kids, we're also earning the right to be heard. Mm-hmm. So it's the power of presence. We are I go to the high school campus 2 or 3 times out of the week. I go to football games. I go see my kids participate in their activities. So I see a bunch of YoungLife kids all over the place, and you kids all the time. Yeah. And so as we're earning the right to be heard, eventually a kid will come up to us and say, "Hey man, I'm going through something." But by that time, that kid I've already earned that right to be heard. Yeah. And his barriers are dropped. Yeah. And his heart is open. And he's saying, "Greg, I'm going through this." And that's when we get to tell him about Jesus and say, "Hey man, this is what Christ says." Yeah. And they receive it better. Yeah. Not only are we planting the seed, but we're also watering the seed. Yeah. And we tell tons of kids what their purpose in life is. And because many of them don't know. And it starts off with the simple purpose of just knowing God and being loved by him. Mm-hmm. That's what God created us to. Knowing him and know that he loves us. That's the purpose that God has created each and every single one of us.
Amen. When I first when you first had me help out with YoungLife and volunteer, I had the original thought, the apprehension that these kids don't want anything to do. I don't have anything in common with these, and I say kids, but teenagers, you know what I mean? I don't have anything in common with these high school kids. And as I'm around them, I realized wow, it felt like high school wasn't that long ago, but we're so different. No. And so I had that apprehension that, I don't think they're gonna I don't think they're gonna respond to me. But what I realized is that they are so, like, every high school student I've interacted with, they are so open to responding to somebody who's older, like somebody,
they need adults, bro.
Yeah.
They are their hearts are ready to open up to an adult because there's not enough adults to come around them, which is kind of crazy.
It was so insane. And and I told my wife about this, that that's something that I didn't take into consideration, but I thought about a lot, that like I hated being in high school. I hated being a kid. I hated being young. Like, I'm so glad I'm an adult. I'm so glad I have my independence. But a lot of the reason is because I think back, and like, you're so vulnerable when you're a kid. You're so, like, you're unaware of your purpose in life. You're unaware of, like, all these, like, fundamental questions in life. You really feel lost.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't like that feeling of feeling lost. You know what I mean? And so it scares me thinking about, how I felt when I was in high school, when I was a kid, all these things. And so, like, it really does break my heart that these high school teenagers, that's the point in life that they're at right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So now, you were saying, like, sometimes you felt awkward being around high school kids.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm way older than you.
Even worse for you, man.
But check this out. So, like, I'll walk into a cafeteria,
and
you see all the social circles, right? Different social circles. You see from all over, all these clubs and different things.
Yeah.
And then everybody says, well, how do you reach the kids? And I was like, man, I just go in there, and if I see, something that, I can just say, hey, man, I love that Nirvana shirt, right?
Yeah.
Bro, I love Nirvana. I look for a common interest, and I'm like, hey, bro, what's your name?
I can talk to kids about Nirvana all day. Check this out. Hold on.
Yeah, bro, that was my number one band growing up, bro.
Nirvana, I witnessed Nirvana, the day-by-day chronicle of them, first-hand accounts of them recording their album.
Yeah, man. So I look for common interests where I can, start a conversation. But bro, it takes recognizing high school kids, because we have to live as adults. We have to literally go into a teenage culture.
Yeah,
and we need to know the next generations that are coming up and how to. Fit into it, and then run along with it so we can reach high school kids. And so, every generation that's coming behind them, we try to see, like, hey, what are the trends? How's the culture shifting?
Dude,
like,
that bothers me so much, man. Like, these high school teens, or all of them, like, you could talk to them. They could be so interested in one thing. 6 months later, they will criticize you for bringing that up.
Well, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It was like, back in my days, I went through the whole new wave, which was kind of like gothic.
Yeah.
And then I went into, like, heavy metal.
Yeah, like The Cure. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like The Cure and all that stuff, bro. Like, and then,
That's
like,
funny.
it's sort of, I was a chameleon, growing up, trying to just fit in.
Yeah.
And then there was this crucial moment in my life when my stepdad and my mom got divorced. We had some structure in our house, and when it was no longer there, that's when gangster rap started coming out in the late 80s, early 90s, and I gravitated to that, and from there, that's where I stayed there, and it was like crazy world when that happened, because their lyrics. They were just getting embedded in my head and in my heart. And then you wanted to live that type of lifestyle.
Oh yeah, dude, slap women, sell drugs.
I think we need to really understand kids and the next generation and the culture that we're diving into. Yeah. But the great thing is we get to reach them for Christ.
It's just it's tough. I get in a lot of trouble. But I didn't want to say it, but because like for example, I did meet a teenager that, like, man, he was so far gone. Like, he was talking about, like, that I don't even know if he lived with his parents.
Yeah.
I think he shared a house with his brother or something like that, and he was in high school. And he was selling drugs, and he was telling me all this openly. Oh, I sell drugs. And he was showing me a video of him beating up his friend, and
Yeah. No.
really insane. Yeah, and so that's the reality. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no.
Like, hey, these kids are real. Like, we can't just tell them like, oh, like, you're this, you're that, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, this is their life. This is their culture. This is what they like. This is all they know.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to, when I was speaking to him, I was trying to speak within his worldview. And I was, I was trying to say that, like, well, like, I don't know, do you like selling drugs? Because he was talking about it in a boastful way, like,
Yeah.
oh, I sold like, this like $2,000 worth or something like that. I don't know. And so I was like, well, do you enjoy selling drugs? And I was like, well, how much could he make? And then so I started like adding up the numbers, and I was like, okay, so if you do that by this and this and that, you would have this amount of salary, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what's such a bummer? Is that you know what's such a bummer, dude? Is that like if you try to scale that up, like, because cops don't care about low grade or low level drug, like
They just slap you in the hand. Or
yeah. Well, it's not that. Like, if they catch you with it, obviously,
Yeah. It's got to
Have
be
you-
a big
like you've seen those memes, right? Of like, oh, this is like the cop will do a drug raid, and it's just like 2 like bags of pot or something, and it's like, wow, thanks.
sort of like Super Troopers, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but yeah, and so I was telling him, like, cops don't really care about like low level, like, drug sellers, like drug dealers, but if you were gonna really want to scale that up to actually make money, you know what I mean? Because, like, dude, if you get a bachelor's degree, like, and you get a decent job in something, you're making at least like, I don't know, like 40,000, somewhere around there, at least, you know, and and so in order to get that much a year, you have to up your ante. And then so like that's when the cops start looking at you. You know what I mean? And not only that, but once you get into that amount of drugs, then you're gonna go to jail for a long time. And that's the thing. Like, and I told him every drug dealer will tell you this. It's not if you get caught. It's
When you get
caught.
Yeah,
Eventually,
of course.
it's gonna happen. It's
Yeah.
guaranteed. And so then he started posturing on jail, like, man, if I were to go to jail, this and this and that, like,
No,
he
you're
started-
going to jail. It's just a matter of time before they catch you.
But
right?
he was even posturing in that scenario. If he were to go to jail, he was like, man, if I went to jail, man, I would like, and he was trying to tell me,
Yeah.
how he would post up in jail and all these things, like, of how he would, be able to flex himself. And so from there, I was telling him, like, but, like, if you wanted to, you could go to McDonald's right now, like walk to McDonald's and buy a burger, In jail, you could be the biggest, baddest guy there. Everyone's afraid of you. Everyone respects you, but yet they still tell you, the guards still tell you where to go, when you can eat, when you can sleep.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And everybody meets their match there.
and
Or
it
doesn't matter.
Even if he
It's just a
doesn't,
matter
even
of
if he's
time.
the biggest, baddest guy there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he can't, as bad as he wants to, he can't walk to the grocery store. He can't go to McDonald's and
No
buy
freedom,
a burger.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're still a slave.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's best case scenario for what you want. Like, you're the biggest, baddest guy there, and you're still a slave.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of kids, man, that that's all they know.
Yeah.
They have nothing else. And so, trying to take that away from them, it's like you're taking a piece of their lifestyle away.
Yeah.
Because that's all they've known, the people around them. That's
Yeah.
all they've taught them. And so when you come in and you try to teach them something different, it's foreign. Everything is foreign. For them. Especially the word of God. If you try to teach them about God, they're like, no way, man. In God, they trust is the dollar bill.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard for, especially our area, because we live on the border. I've taken kids out from crack houses down in La Paloma and Ranchito and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they've called me up. But here's the thing: these are kids that have been wandering in the streets and who probably don't have parents, or have one parent, or they're staying with their grandparents or something. And so and they have no control over them. And so these guys get to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And because there's lack of resources and there's drugs abundantly, they get involved into that. But because an adult has come into their world and has earned the right to be heard.
Yeah.
When they're going through something, guess who they're calling?
Yeah.
They're calling their Young Life leader.
Yeah.
Hey man, something's wrong. I was quick story. I was coming in from San Antonio from when I first a couple of years ago, pre-COVID. One of the kids called me up. Kid that I did not think he was going to call me or ever. I don't even know how he got my number, which is kind of crazy. So I'm driving in from San Antonio and he calls me and says, "Hey, I'm in the city jail." And I'm like, "Oh, no, check this out." He said, there's a jail cell at the San Antonio High School.
Yeah.
And it's like a makeshift jail with like fence.
Okay.
He says, "I'm at the San Antonio High School jail."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What are you talking about? There's a jail cell there?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, man, they busted me they had seen him on the drone going back and forth to his car, whatever."
Okay.
And so I go and I talk to him and I talk to the police officers and I said, "Hey, this is one of the kids that I've been dealing with, and let me talk to him." So they let me in and I started talking to him, and he had told me, he says, "Hey man, call my mom."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know your mom. I know you, but I don't know your mom."
Yeah.
He's like, "Just tell her who you are and tell her that I'm okay."
Yeah.
So I had to call his mom
Yeah.
and tell her that, what had happened and she broke down crying, but they ended up releasing the kid later on and stuff. But
Yeah.
like, that's an awesome scenario of a kid who hardly has people around him that he trusts and looks up to and says, "Hey man, would you call my mom?" Just a simple call and tell my mom that.
Yeah.
And not only that, there's been another kid who I pulled out of another crack house who he had no one to call, and he had to call me and say, "Greg, I need to leave from this house. Come and pick me up."
Yeah.
Boom, there I go. And I go pick him up. And then he stays with me for a couple of months
Yeah.
to help him out, get him on his feet.
Yeah.
And so he ended up doing that. And so, praise God that they had someone to call, because can you imagine the kids that don't have anyone to call?
Exactly.
Like slipping through the cracks, nobody knows. Like, man.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those kids around.
Yeah.
Lots.
Oh my gosh. And I have so many like critiques and not critiques, but like criticisms of like the Valley and the RGV culture and stuff like that I would say are negative. But one thing that I thought about when I was thinking about Young Life and just Christianity in general is that really a lot of, and I don't know if you can attest to this, but a lot of parents are encouraging of something related to Christianity.
Oh yeah, no,
Like-
I've had parents come and say, "Hey man, thanks for reaching my kid," or "Hey, can you reach this kid, or can you reach that kid, or can you reach my kid?"
Yeah.
And we'll reach any kid, right?
Yeah.
Like we have a place where we hang out, come and bring them there. But yeah, no, they want their kids to have some form of faith or some place to grow their faith.
Yeah.
And so Young Life is just one of many. And so, but just to be in our community, man, it feels really good, man, because we're reaching kids in our community.
Yeah. And like a cool thing about Young Life is like when you guys do stuff big. Like it's not like you just have like a little makeshift club or whatever. You reach out to the high school and you get really involved in the high school, and like it's a very organized structure that you guys have to your club, and it's always revolved around like actually having fun. Like I'm not a party pooper, but like when I would volunteer, like I said, like there was apprehension, like being accepted, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't help like seeing a club happen, and you see it with all the shy kids too. The kids that shy away, they can still see it and smile and laugh and like and kind of like like.
Yeah, the introverted kids, right?
Yeah.
And bro, I'm super extroverted, but it's been so crazy in the last 10 years that I've been involved with Young Life is the friends that I make the best are the introverted kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like they calm me down because I'm so extroverted, and sometimes I can be scary to introverted kids because like, man, you're hyper, like what the heck's wrong with you, right?
Yeah.
But we believe in Young Life. Young Life believes that if we can get a kid through our doors, and if we can get them in through our doors, and if they're just there to just watch and not get involved, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But keep coming back, because one day, eventually, they will get involved. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time before their barriers drop and they want to get involved.
Yeah.
And we believe that if we can move them from the back wall to participators, then we can move them from not knowing the gospel to knowing the gospel.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do. And so we're really strategic on how we deal with the culture of the kids.
Yeah.
And so that's one of them is the last thing that we want a kid to show up to club and say, man, you know what, mom and dad, I went to Young Life Club and it sucked. Nobody reached out to me. And so one of the things that we tell our leaders is every kid here needs to get high-fived, needs to get invited into what we're doing, because we don't want one kid to leave. We want them all to be participators of something. And so that's what we've been doing, and this started, bro, some history from Young Life. 1941, Jim, up in Gainesville, Texas, there's a young pastor by the name of Jim Rayburn, the one the founder of Young Life. He's actually attending a church that's right across of a high school. And his pastor tells him, hey, don't worry about the kids here. Go across the street and reach those high school kids and bring those kids out. And so he goes in there, and the first thing he does is he doesn't use churchy terminologies and stuff. And so he has it's called campaigners. And so it's a Bible study, but campaigners is kids come and they are having skits and they are having, they're singing at the top of their lungs. They start having all this fun. There's food, right? Like they call it control chaos. Yeah. And so they're just having fun. It's like a club. No, that's the way. Yeah. And then the last 15 minutes, right? It's an introduction of who Jesus Christ is, right? Yeah. And so whether they accept it or reject it, like, hey, keep coming back. We want you here because we want to have fun. And so he starts doing that. And from 1941 till present day, we are in 115 countries. We are in all 50 states. We are in hundreds of thousands of high schools across the country. Yeah. And so we're here in southest point of the United States, right? Yeah. We are here. We believe that Young Life has cracked the code on reaching kids. And that's why when you see big events, because we strategically know how to go into that generation, that culture, and bring those kids out and then introduce them to the gospel. Yeah. And I've seen it. Like I said, I haven't gone to like one of the week-long clubs, but I went to one of the short ones during the weekend. Yeah. And it's insane that you say that, like, okay, so everyone needs to like be introduced. Everyone needs to be involved. And I feel like that at club is like times 10 at camp. Oh, bro. It's really insane, bro. It really did feel like that. It felt like at any moment you can be involved. You can do something crazy, and everyone responds to it. You know, and yeah. Well, check this out, bro. In the last, I'm going on 10 years with Young Life. Yeah, I have never once shared my testimony at a camp. Yeah, and this past year, I had the opportunity to share my testimony along with some other people that were. Did you cry or what? Well, check this out. No, bro, check this out. Look, which was really good. Of course I cry, bro. I cry every night. No, I'm just like. You cried? No. Check this out. No, so I'm sharing. No, they tell us don't get emotional. Anyways, they prep us, bro. They give us makeup and everything. No, they don't do it. It's actually called, hey, I'm serious. This thing is called Real Life. Yeah. All right? Yeah. It's called Real Life. And so I got to share my testimony with, I think. That's why I get in trouble. Like, I can't just I can't. No, so check this out. So I get to share my story in front of close to 2,000 kids in a month. Yeah. There's about 500 and something kids per week. Yeah. And we get to share the story. And these are kids coming from all over the nation, from different small states, big cities, big towns, from all over the place, every race. There's just kids that are going to camp. Yeah. I get to share it. And it was so cool to engage with kids that don't look like me. Yeah. Kids from a different part of the country. And it was a beautiful thing because I had never been able to share my testimony, but God aligned it perfectly because guess who was sitting in the crowd?
Jesus.
No, I would no. See, Jesus is always present. No, bro. The president of YoungLife.
Oh wow, I didn't expect that.
The president of YoungLife was sitting there, bro.
I was thinking, how could there be somebody that I would be surprised at? But that's a big deal.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Dude, I had this awesome conversation with the guy, man.
Yeah.
And he's such a great guy, bro. He's man. He's the president for a reason of YoungLife, of this faith-based organization for a reason, and just to share the testimony for and for the kids to get reached, and then to just glorify God in it, and to show kids that, hey, regardless of what you're going right now, God is still there. You just got to focus on Him, and you'll recognize Him. Yeah, but you gotta really, really focus on Him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think because you guys have like such a good structure, like you guys actually go in with a plan. And I was telling you about this earlier, that really I'm trying to grind out and and mold the purpose of this podcast. I'm trying to mold, and so at the end of it, I can't help that I'm Christian, I can't help that I believe in God. I can't help that I believe in, in Jesus Christ. And so I believe that, and this is something that I realized that amongst non-believers is actually almost controversial, in that I believe in reality. I believe in objective reality, and I believe in an objective truth. Yeah. I believe that there is a truth. I believe that the same way that 2 + 2 = 4, that it's
what? The
same way that 2 + 2 = the same way that 2 + 2 = 4 is, it's wrong to kill people. Yeah. That it's not my opinion that it's wrong to kill people. It's objectively wrong to kill people, regardless of the way I feel about it. Yeah. And so, I believe that it's objectively good to be orderly. It's objectively good to have a plan. It's objectively good to, have structure. Yeah. Those things, if you live your life in order, or if you live your life orderly, if you live your life with structure, all of these things, that fruit will come out of it. Good things will come out of it.
Of course.
And it's because you're in communion with one of the how do you say it, elements of God.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, man. I mean, we really believe in the Great Commission and the Great Commandment, bro. He said, go make disciples of all nations, right? Yeah. And then you got to love the Lord your God with all your heart, right? Yeah. And those two go hand in hand. Yeah. And that's what we follow, and that's what we got to do. And I love what I do. I love that I get to wake up every day and say, hey, what kid are we going to reach next? Yeah. And so, and there is truth, and it's in Scripture. Yeah. And I'm a living testimony, because, man, when I was back in my days, man, the only thing that changed my world was the Word of God. It wasn't anyone trying to reach me. Yeah. I had to dive into Scripture, and I had to meditate and ask God, if you're really real, change my whole life. Yeah. And He did. And I believe that He'll do that with anybody. Yeah. Regardless, no person can be too far gone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really feel bad, and not in a condescending way, but I truly mean it when I say I really feel bad for people who have anger towards God.
Yeah.
Or
I had anger towards God.
And maybe even anger towards that, anger that people could even believe in a God. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anger that
bro, my I'm going to say this, but my kids came home today and said that, teachers sometimes engage with kids about religion and stuff, in faith and stuff. And, sometimes these kids don't know how to defend the Bible, but they believe.
Apologetics.
And so, and I told my daughter, I said, she's like, you know what? My daughter voiced to me, she says, Dad, I would rather not argue with him because I don't know what to say. And I said, because you need to learn apologetics. Yeah. Because she's a talker. And if she knew this, and once she experiences her her faith with God and everything, and as she grows older and God shapes her and molds her, she'll be able to do that. And at the time, her being quiet, there's nothing wrong with that, because that person can't take her faith away.
Yeah.
That person can't make her stop believing.
Yeah.
And you know, I praise God that he reached me when he did, because I was able to teach our kids about God.
Yeah.
And so and we're still teaching them, and I'm still growing myself. So
Yeah.
it doesn't stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, you know, and I really feel for that, because I lived my life for so long, not to say that I don't know. I lived my life for so long as if I was a Christian. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah.
I mean that I didn't have much faith in God,
Yeah.
but I couldn't let go of the idea of God,
Yeah.
because you were asking me to like die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you're asking me to die.
Of course.
And the
Die
thing
to
is,
yourself.
and the thing is that like I honestly couldn't believe like all of those things, like, you know, and I grew up with it. I grew up exposed to like questioning, like, is God even real? Questioning, well, what about the dinosaurs? You know what I mean? Like just simple stuff like that. And so it got me to a point where I don't even know if I believe that this is real. You know what I mean? That this God is real, that Jesus actually died on the cross and resurrected, you know? And so it did take me away from having I don't know, it got rid of a lot of the faith that I have. I felt like I had very little faith in God, but I was living my life as if I were a Christian. I was still living it throughout, like, you know, just, and hopefully along the way, you know, he'll reveal himself.
Now, real quick, and I mean, I know that your parents are believers.
Yeah.
And they probably try to bring you up the best way that they could.
Yeah.
Do you think that at some point you were maybe just piggybacking off of their faith, and you wanted your own faith, your own genuine faith? Because here's what I tell my kids.
Yeah.
I tell my kids, like, hey, at one point you will have your own faith. Right now you're piggybacking off of my faith because I'm raising you up right in this manner.
Yeah.
But eventually you're going to have to break off of us. Yeah. And you will have your own authentic faith with God.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting for that. And I've seen that in several of my kids, where I'm like, all right, God, I see you working. And this is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, was there ever have you ever even thought of that? Like, was I piggybacking off of my parents' faith? I
guess I was. Yeah, I guess I was. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like when I felt that God revealed himself to me, and I felt like, you know, I can't go back, you know what I mean? Like I'm in it, you know what I mean? I'm in it to win it.
Bro,
and
I have felt like that so many times. Like I have felt where I'm like, there is no point, there is no way back. Like there's just something has happened in my world that it's just going forward with Christ. Yeah. Which is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's when
I've had that same feeling.
That's when you're on fire and you want to tell people, and you want to like, and and it's funny because I've seen other people like bam, and so they're eager to like be in the church. They're eager to volunteer, and they're eager to like put their input in things, and sometimes it could be a problem, which isn't a big deal, but whatever. But I'm just saying, like, it's something that I've noticed, and I noticed it myself too. As far as my parents. Like I said, there's all these breadcrumbs that led me to God. And it's funny because I felt so alone in my doubts of God, because I felt like, you know, I had a conversation with my parents about this, actually. I told them that I don't even know if I believe in God. I don't even know if I believe in God anymore.
Hey, but did you know that is the best thing?
To tell people?
No, to tell my parents? To tell God that you don't know if you really believe in him.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm serious. He wants honesty.
Yeah.
You know, God can never change us until we go to him with sincere honesty. Hey, God, I really don't know you. Like, I'm telling you the truth. Like, I don't believe you. I don't even know if I'm saying anything to anything right now. No, but that's the truth. If you want to get real with God, you got to be honest with God. And he knows you. He knows us. He just wants us to be honest with him. Yeah. And so that's the breaking point for you to start. Yeah. Being honest with God and telling him he wants to hear it. God wants to hear the honesty.
It's so funny because when I had that talk with my parents, they just made it worse. They tried to help me, you know what I mean?
Well, that's
and it's like you want your parents to like, take care of you. You want your parents to, like make you feel safe, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I felt even more like alone. I felt even more lost and hopeless. And
but you recognize that. You
in,
recognize
in hindsight, I recognize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what? But
At the time, I just felt hopeless. I just felt like
so then that moved you to another somewhere like in the direction, or
I don't know. No, I don't know. I just like I said, I'm my path. I was lost, just like just like I feel like other teenagers are lost in the world trying to figure out where they are, who they are.
Yeah.
And I feel like God just put certain people, certain situations, certain I don't know, things in my heart at a certain time, and it led me down the path where he where he wanted me to be. But yeah, that was a big heartbreaker, is that like I felt like I said something very personal to my parents, and they couldn't make it better. Like if anything, they made it worse. But
even God works in that too. So.
yeah, no, of course, dude. Like, and so I with that, like how do I say this so it's like nice, but I almost had and still have a little bit anger towards the way the Christianity I was raised in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Like I feel like
it wasn't enough or something.
No, I feel like there's a lot of. I don't want to say this in a mean way.
Like hoes or something.
I just feel like there's not enough. What helped me a lot was reading the Bible within its like ancient Near East context,
of course,
and like really like studying, like the language, the culture, the history behind it, and then the context of
what's happening.
Yeah,
right there
what's going.
then.
Yeah, what's going on. Like it was written by people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like we don't even take a second to think about like what are they trying to say? You know what I mean? What are they trying to convey? What what's the situation, the scenario, whatever that's going on here? And so like, I just feel like there's a lot of like ignorance and naivety and stuff like that in modern Christianity. And so I was just so angry, dude. And I still have a little bit of that anger in me too, where like I'm just because I feel like those things are what kept little me, younger me, in doubt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I do feel that sense of eagerness to like I want to reach out to people that are lost and willing to hear. Yeah. Oh my God! All right, hold on. Give me a second.
What happened?
I don't know.
There you go.
We're back
hey,
up.
there you go.
Okay, my bad. Device is
hey, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you talk about anger.
Yeah.
Do you think anger is a negative emotion?
I believe it's an emotion.
But do you think it's a negative emotion?
It's dude, it's so funny that you're saying that. It's funny the way that you're saying that too.
No.
No. Let me
answer my question.
Yeah, let me answer that.
I'm not supposed to ask. You're supposed
no. This is a conversation, dude. This is
yeah.
Dude, there's a word for it in the Bible. I think it's called Lego, actually. I think it's like Lego or Legai or something like that. Like it's a Greek word that Paul used, and it's the way that Christians reason with each other. Yeah. That it's a dialogue. It's supposed to be a dialogue. It's not supposed to be a. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's it's not supposed to be a monologue. It's a dialogue. Yeah. And so it's funny that you're saying it in that way, because I feel almost as if like this anger that's in me, it's like for something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like I do believe anger can be used for good, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, it definitely can be a positive emotion. It's not about getting angry. It's what you do after with that emotion that becomes sin or it's wrong, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Scripture talks about it. Jesus, goes into the temple and is watching everybody selling things. And he starts flipping tables. Like, Was
Yeah.
Jesus angry? Of course he was. He was mad, right? Like they were
Yeah.
messing up the temple and stuff. And
Yeah.
so he handled it in a positive way. And I mean, he was furthering his kingdom. But I think sometimes, I know I had a problem growing up with anger. I had a lot of anger, man, especially, after my mom and my stepdad divorced, that number one male figure in my life was out of my life. And so I started getting anger, and I just wanted to smash things and did what I did. And I got in a lot of trouble because of anger.
Yeah.
And even in my early 20s, when I had just been with my wife and we were having kids and our family was growing, like I had a lot of anger.
Ooh.
And I was never at peace at home.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started to look into the scriptures about anger and peace, and I was just carrying all this anger in me, and I didn't have to, which was crazy. But I was handling it in a negative way.
Yeah.
And then now I can stop and handle anger in a positive way. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But I'm better than what I used to be.
Yeah.
And that's just God chipping away, right? Shaping and molding us. And so, yeah, man.
Yeah. Do you know, that's true. Cause I do have, negative ways that I deal with anger. And I've been talking with Priscilla about like different ways that I'm, working to like fix that.
Yeah.
But I feel like this anger that I have, it's for, how you say, how you use it. And I feel like I'm angry the same way that God is angry for justice. You know what I mean? And so that's why, like, when people think of retribution, they think of retribution as a negative thing, but retribution is also God fulfilling his justice,
That's right.
you know? And so, as much as we, as he needs to kill all the murders, you know what I mean? He needs to kill all the evil. He needs to kill all the horrible things that, had affect our lives negatively. He needs to bring justice so that
He just needs to come back.
yeah, his will be done on here.
Yeah, right.
And so,
Pretty selfish to say, though.
Yeah,
come on, Jesus, we're waiting for you.
yeah.
No.
Crazy.
It's like we got to save as many people as souls as we can. Right?
Yeah, and that's
or at least help save.
So I do feel like, this anger, there's certain anger that I have that affects me negative, and there's certain anger that I have that tells me like I need to go out there and I need to tell people the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people need to know the truth, and I can't just be content. You know what I mean? Content with just like me, like, oh, I'll study scripture, or I'll like learn more about this or all this stuff or whatever. Like I really need to feel a little bit angry that all this is going on out there and I'm okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Definitely, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I got really into apologetics and that's really what helped me out. That's what helped me out. I didn't realize there was this whole world of people, reasoning. People like, like William Lane Craig, his ministry, Reasonable Faith.
Yeah.
Like, and he talks about it's all they named it after one of his famous books called Reasonable Faith. And he was saying that the publisher, I think it was, the name of the book was actually supposed to be like Jesus on Offense or Christianity on Offense, like something like to kind of, that, hey, like we have a good case for the historicity of the resurrection of Jesus. We have a good case for the existence of God. We have a good case for, and so, but the publisher didn't like that it had the word offense in it.
Oh,
so they said, okay, what about reasonable faith?
Yeah.
And he thought it sounded like so lukewarm. Like, I think he said like warm cereal or something like that. Like just, or like soggy cereal. Like it just sounds boring. It doesn't sound like you're accomplishing any like reasonable faith.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And so, it's so crazy that people who absolutely do not believe in God, absolute militant atheists, agnostics, that they hear reasonable faith and they get offended. Like faith can't be reasonable by definition. It's faith. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason,
Yeah. No, definitely.
There's no logic behind just having faith.
Yeah, no, well, it's faith. I mean, you can't see it and you can't explain it. You just
Yeah.
gotta have faith. And so it takes more faith to believe that we came to nothing than to believe that there is a God. So
Yeah.
right, like whereas they have faith, they have faith in something.
Yeah.
That we came from nothing.
Yeah, that's part of the apologetic like how do you say it? Like trail towards God is that asking the ultimate question, like why are we here? You know, what is our purpose? All this stuff.
Have you ever seen the DVD of Case for Christ?
Yeah, no, actually, that was one of the first things that
The journalist?
Lee Strobel.
Yeah,
Lee Strobel. Yeah,
bro, you need to see that. I took some.
I think William. Oh wait, you said the DVD?
There's a DVD. There's a movie on it.
It's a movie. Yeah, I saw the movie. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, he's like this journalist who doesn't believe in Christ and wants to debunk it, and then ends up like becoming a believer and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that's an awesome. I actually had to write some papers on that thing when I got some courses through Liberty University.
Yeah.
And that was one of the apologetics tools that we were studying, and it was pretty cool to see that.
Yeah. In his book, he cites William Lane Craig a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. I follow William Lane Craig. I love following his ministry, Reasonable Faith, dude. It's so awesome.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. I'm in it.
Keep at it, man. Keep at it.
Yeah. I will.
Yeah, that way we can have dialogue. Like
No, definitely. Yeah, that's what I'm all about, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love it. And it's difficult. It's difficult talking to people like this because like, and I don't mind, but like if I talk to somebody who doesn't believe in God, like you, like, dude, I'm surprised how many conversations I've had with people just telling them that reality is real. Like I can like, and I don't mean it in a condescending way because I get it. Like some people believe like we're in the Matrix, and I don't mean that in a condescending way, but it's truly a theory. Like people truly believe we're in some type of like
flat world or what?
No, not flat. Oh my, damn, Greg, you're pissing off all the atheists, man. How dare you?
Sorry, it had to come out, bro. Like what the heck?
How dare they? No, there's a lot like. I get where they're coming from, but I just I don't think logic and reasoning align with like a subjective reality. I think it goes totally against everything, you know, how we live our lives. Like I think, like I said earlier, just the way that 2 + 2 = 4. Yeah. Like you're in front of me, and you're not in front of me because I'm seeing you in front of me. You're in front of me despite me.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
Yeah. Perceiving.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well, dude, I'm really glad that you are taking apologetics. You are studying that stuff. God tells us that we need to be ready in season and out of season, bro. Yeah. And you got to be ready when you're going to talk. And so that's a great thing that you're doing. And
it's so like, and I'm going to come off condescending like one way or another, but it's so, even the people that don't believe in God or don't believe that God's real, like it's not even like you have to be that like deeply studied into it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like at this point, like I don't even get that far when I talk to people who don't believe in God. Like when I talk to people like that, like we're arguing about whether reality is real, you know, like that's and
dude, I wouldn't even argue with people like that. Like,
no,
like,
it's
like,
not. It's
I'm
not
serious. Like
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying arguing, but I really mean like the same way. The same way I'm telling you right now is the
like
same
a
way.
Debate. It's a debate or something.
I don't even think it's like a debate. Like I think we just ask each other questions.
Okay. Yeah.
And we both answer it. We both answer our world point of view, and we both grab something from it. And so I start with the fundamental question of is an atheist worldview, is it sustainable? And what I mean by is it sustainable, can we live consistently by living as if like, and it's like the moral argument, living as if there were no God, so all morals are just based off of our own preferences.
Yeah.
So if there were a community of people that believe that it's okay to rape children, you know what I mean? That if there were whole communities that believe that,
Oh, there's a community that.
would it still be wrong? You know what I mean? Or I'm sorry, would it be right just because everyone was okay with it? Like, and so, if you want to say like, I don't believe it's right or whatever, is that just your opinion? You know what I mean? And why isn't it just your opinion?
Definitely.
And so like, and so is there a foundation for what you're claiming? You know what I mean? Is it based on, just popular culture? Like pop culture, like the majority rules, if the majority were the rule elsewhere. And like, obviously they'll go on to like different, like, well, as long as it doesn't hurt people, like, or does it, thrive life, for human beings. And so, well, why is that good? And so, I just want to make the proposition that maybe these things that we hold so, and so like, yeah, maybe these things that we hold so dear, like it's wrong to kill, it's wrong to lie, it's wrong to do all these things. Maybe they're just as real as 2 + 2 = 4.
That's right.
Maybe no matter what, in any world, it's always wrong to kill people, regardless of what we think, And so if you think that it is really just meaningless or whatever, that life is,
Yeah. Hey, I was hearing you talk about atheists. Just want to point you to a video, man. It's out, it's on YouTube. Great tool. So if there was going to be a battle of the octagon, and you got your number one theologian and your number one atheist, you would grab, at the point it was Gary Habermas. He's actually
I know Gary Habermas
from Liberty University, and then Anthony Flew, who's an atheist, and he's long gone, but in this debate,
I know about Anthony Flew too.
So Gary Habermas, I think he went from atheist to theist.
Yeah,
and was on his deathbed and kind of says like, "Hey, I don't know this guy, but there's probably something out there."
It was evidence through DNA. He just he found the sequencing of DNA so like advanced and so intentional that he just thought that was good evidence that it was created.
Yeah.
Well,
that's great. Have you seen the video though?
No, I haven't.
It's on YouTube. Go. It's Gary Habermas versus Anthony Flew.
Yeah, I've seen some Gary Habermas debates, but I don't know if that was one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But no, I do. And there's so many, like, out of all those things, there's so many questions. And so, like, at the end of it, is that sustainable? You know what I mean? Like, do you live your life? Okay, so let's say you agree that really it all is meaningless. We're all here for a blimp of time or whatever. So really, if we die now, we die 100 years from now, it doesn't really matter, because soon we'll be gone longer than we were ever here. You know what I mean? And nobody will be there to miss us or think about us, or we'll feel anything, whatever.
Sounds like the teacher that was talking with my daughter, man.
Yeah,
that's what they were saying.
Nihilism.
The exact same words.
That's nihilism. So if that's the case, then why don't you live like what would be wrong with somebody living their life contrary to everything you believe? You know what I mean? And so if we want to like assert that, okay, I'm trying to see where I was going with this, because I go on all these like tangents, but like,
that's all right,
so
squirrel.
But like, let's say that's your world you believe in. Why do you live your life contrary to that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do you live your life as if you have a reason to do what's right? Why don't you do what's wrong behind closed doors? Why don't you why don't you lie? They're never gonna know. You know what I mean? Why don't you steal if nobody knows?
The lie is the truth, and the truth is the lie. Right?
Why don't you cheat on your wife if nobody knows? You know,
it's just like that guy, that teacher. My daughter was saying that he was already good without having God, and I said, "Oh, well, that's good that he thinks that." But did you ask him what's his standard to go to of being good?
Yeah.
Because there's a standard, right? If you're saying you're good, then there has to be a standard.
Yeah.
And my daughter's just listening, and I said, you should ask him, like, what standard is he going off of?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to go off a standard, you're going to go off of the only person who's ever been good.
Yeah.
And who's that?
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. That's
Amen.
the standard of being good. So if people say, I'm already good, okay, but where did you grab that standard from? How are you figuring that you're good? Figuring out that you're good, right? well, there has to be a standard to it, and
because that's why they're saying they're good, but that's just your opinion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
course,
At the end, like, and not only is that just your opinion, but your worldview is contrary to what you're even saying right now, because there is no moral good.
Yeah.
It's just like
yeah,
literally,
no, it's the gospel is the world is bad and there's only one good person.
like just give your life to doing hardcore drugs all the time, and do you know what? You'll feel great the whole time. You could live under a bridge, and the second that you take a dose, you're gonna feel great. And so that'll be your new standard. You know what I mean? Live by that standard. What's wrong with that standard? It's just your opinion anyways.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't live your life like that. You live your life as if there's a standard outside of yourself.
Yeah.
You live your life as if there's a standard that you have to live up to, which is in your own worldview, not in my worldview.
Yeah.
Because my worldview, there is an objective standard. In your worldview, there is no standard. There is no real. So you're living your life contrary to what you even believe. You don't believe that there's something to work up to, but yet you live your life opposite to that.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
So why?
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing that? Are you lying to yourself? Like, are you
Of course,
kidding
they're
yourself? Like, are you
delusional, bro.
like, and so like, that's why, like, I don't mean it in a condescending, but that's where ultimately all these questions come down to. And it's not that you're stupid because of it or you're ignorant because of it. It's just that I'm just proposing that you're not living your life consistently. And I'm proposing that the way your worldview right now, it's impossible for you to live your life consistently to your own worldview.
Yeah. No, yeah, man. That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's good that you
I'm sorry, I'm fired up, man.
Dude, you're fired up, bro. Man, where was this? Where was this Mickey a year ago? Nah, just
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna listen to all you idiots. God is real.
No.
If you don't believe it, you
No,
believe
bro,
in nothing.
you gotta show love,
You're
bro.
all
You gotta
dumb.
love, man.
You're all dumb. You're dumb. You're all idiots. I hate you.
You're crazy,
Nah, I'm
man.
kidding around. I'm sorry, man.
No, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but
Don't be sorry, bro.
Yeah,
It's your show, bro.
no,
Don't
but
be
yeah, there's
sorry.
thank you.
No, I was coming over here. I was like, I'm trying to say that I'm really gonna try my best never to say I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, you know,
Okay,
well, at least for me. Man.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. I shouldn't try to say
Yeah.
so. Listen up, you idiots.
Bro, this is cool, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm learning a lot of that right now. I'm learning how to speak to, properly, how to speak to people, because now I'm involved in a church and I need to do things the right way. So,
Yeah, it's funny you say properly, bro. Like in a loving way or what? Because John the Baptist was like out there screaming his right,
dude.
like.
And so like that's all I need. Little things like that give me.
Of course, bro.
No. I'm saying little things like that make me feel justified in telling people like,
Bro.
"Are you stupid? Are you freaking? Do you not get what's going on? Like, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not telling you my own opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you what's in."
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. People think it's your opinion, bro.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just what you're reading, what was given to you, right?
That's
The
why
Holy
this
Word,
was
bro.
out.
Like,
These things are outside of me. These are things I have to learn. The same way you had to learn, like I don't know, like Pythagorean theorem or whatever. It was always true before you learning Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? I'm telling you what
yeah, like the square root of an isosceles triangle or something, right? Like,
Yeah, like this. Look at us, all educated. We went to college.
bro. I have some college, bro. Yeah. Bro.
No, but yeah, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming.
Yeah,
on.
man. No, dude. I've been wanting to do podcasts for a while, man. It's like when I saw you come out with it, I was like, man, I got to get on this show with Mickey. We got some stuff to talk about. So
thank you so much. It's usually just my friends, and like because I associate myself with all these godless sodomites, like sometimes they drive me in wrong directions. And stuff
bro,
like that.
bro, love them, bro, love them. Keep loving them.
Listen, you idiots, listen. You shut up. You listen to the word.
Yeah. Hey, they'll be coming, man, because you're rubbing off on them, bro.
Yeah,
that's all you're doing.
It is. Oh my god. Oh no.
Well, that's good, bro. That's good. I'm glad you have this. I'm happy for you. Keep at it, bro.
Yeah.
This is definitely a big tool to get talk to the community and and educate people about what's going on, with scripture and the world, and, just promote organizations who are doing good for God, man.
Yeah.
It's a really good tool.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Young Life is like, it's such a blessing for it to be involved in the Valley, and just me seeing it firsthand. And it's like such an involved organization,
We're trying, man. We're trying. We're trying to, we're trying to just reach kids, bro. We're trying to reach teenagers because we know they're in a tough situation. They're in a tough world, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And we can't find enough adults to go and reach them, bro. And those are the people that they're looking up to.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. All right. Well, thanks for making me feel bad, Greg.
Nah, bro, you just build another tool. This is bigger and grander. Next time we'll have a Young Life kid come on here, bro, and tell you, like, hey, this guy knucklehead over here is reaching me and stuff. Like in high school, when I got several of those kids, bro, who have already gone into who went through the whole high school. Yeah. No, we have some kids that went from wildlife, because Young Life has several ministries within the ministry. Yeah. And so they have wildlife for junior high kids. They have Young Life for high school kids. Yeah. They reach teen moms and dads. Yeah. They have Capernaum kids with disabilities, and then they have college. And so there's kids that have came through wildlife, Young Life, and they're in college, and then now they're contemplating of being in career. And they'll tell you, like, man, these guys have been in and out of our world telling us about Jesus. Yeah. And that's what we want to do with our community. Reach them young, reach them young. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to keep doing, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, give it up for Greg. Oh, wait, wrong one. Whoops. My bad. All right, no, that's good, bro. Yeah, thank you so much, man. Yeah, no, for sure. We'll do it again. Yeah, maybe we could do something, with teenagers. I'm so used to calling them kids. I don't want to like sound kids, bro. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Do they like being called kids? You want to be politically correct? Yeah, I want to be a little like politically correct. Yeah. So they're teenagers. So, well, here's the thing: is like they're young adults, bro. Yeah. They're young adults, and even at middle school, dude, they're young adults. That's why I will never, I'm saying this. Okay, I take it back. I don't feel comfortable around teenagers, because dude, middle schoolers, because dude, that's such a sensitive age, dude. Yeah, like childhood, and then they're just hitting adulthood. Oh yeah, that's like the scariest time of. Bro, I've heard teachers tell me like, man, it's rough in the junior highs. Yeah, because of that. I feel for every junior high teacher, man. It's tough. Yeah, bless their hearts, man. Keep praying for them. God bless their hearts. God bless every middle school teacher out there, administrator, and oh, God bless you guys. And I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, don't let them watch this show. I'm not just playing. All right. Well, yeah, thank you so much. I'll go ahead and sign this off. All right, Nick. Hey, thank you, man. No, of course, dude. Brother, of course. Hey. Anytime. Shake it, man. Hi. Hey, my name's Mickey. Yeah, Mickey on the mic, man.